So another day of Cleveland Browns training camp is in the book. This was day 4, and this was a big day for Shedeur Sanders because he finally got real reps against the actual players on this team. It wasn't just the equipment staff. So we got to see some real meaningful reps in 11-on-11 scenarios, and he threw a nice touchdown on a crossing route to Luke Floria. We got to see a few other players get some action. We got to see the defense do some drills. Tons of stuff happened. Monday, the pads are officially going to be in full swing, so that's when things actually get real. But still today, a lot of productive things happen, so I kind of want to break down everything that did happen. I want to show you the highlights, everything there is to talk about and kind of take out of today. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. We saw Shedeur Sanders interacting with the fans. He tried to take a group picture. I just love to see him doing so much within the Cleveland community. He's a great guy. I don't know why the narrative on him by the media was what it was, but I mean, he's already proving it wrong, so that's good to see. But yeah, before I do get into everything in this video, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. I know in some of these videos I've just kind of been rambling and showing you the footage that I can show you, but I hope there are some takeaways from it and you're getting some value. And if you are, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe because your support truly means the world. Alright, so what stood out right away during the team period today was that Shedeur was the second quarterback to take reps, and this time he was running with the twos. He hit receiver Luke Floria for a touchdown on a crossing route that I mentioned from the 35-yard line. So that's a 35-yard strike in a full team setting, not some check down in a warm-up drill. That's real competitiveness showing, and while we didn't get the full broadcast angle, we did get a few clips of it, and it looked every bit as clean as you'd expect from a quarterback fighting to climb the depth chart, and a quarterback that broke the record for being the most accurate player in college football. The defense came out showing 2 high safeties pre-snap. There was press coverage underneath, and right off the bat you could see that Shedeur's eyes were on the safeties, textbook, and once one of the safeties started to creep up and give away that they were in cover 1 formation, as soon as that safety bites, Shedeur knows he's got leverage on the deep crosser. Floria wins at the line of scrimmage, stacks the DB, and from there it's just about putting the ball on time and on target, which Shedeur does perfectly. It was an absolute laser for the touchdown. Great recognition, great execution. That's how you make a case to your coaching staff that you deserve more reps throughout camp. A little later on, Fred Greenham dropped a clip from a 7-on-7 period where Sanders was out there again, this time with DILLON Sampson in the backfield, and Sanders motioned a guy across the formation. He read the defense pre-snap again, and even though they initially showed man, the DBs bailed late and shifted into a split coverage look, and Sanders didn't force anything down the field. He read the leverage, he saw Sampson matched up with a linebacker in space, and he checked it down. Very smart. You let your playmaker go to work, and Sampson has looked really solid in space throughout camp, albeit that he's been against the twos, and that's a matchup this offense should want all year long. We also got another play out of Sanders in what looked like an adjusted 11-on-11 setting where the O-line and D-line were lined up but not going full contact. They weren't really applying full pressure, but he took the snap and read the play and he dumped it off to Sampson again. It wasn't for a huge gain, but it was another smart decision. The linebackers dropped into hook curl zones, the corners were playing tighter outside coverage, and rather than holding onto the ball too long or forcing something that wasn't there, he took the easy outlet for another completion and another positive rep. Then there was a third Sanders clip that I hope I can find where the offense came out in 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 back, 3 wideouts, and the tight end motioned across the formation, and the defense again gave a late look. Sanders had the chance to hit the back early in the flat and honestly probably should have, but instead he held it and hit the quick stop route up top. It wasn't like the best angle on the clip to really see everything, but it looked like a solid decision from what I've heard. Nothing flashy, just another completion that he was stacking today. To me, this kind of stuff is what separates quarterbacks in a camp setting. It's not the highlight throws, but it's just stacking clean, smart decisions one after another. In another look from the same session, the offense was in a trips formation to the left. The route concept was really solid. The tight end runs a deep crosser, 1 receiver sat down on a curl, and the third ran a return route back inside. It was designed to create confusion at the second level, and Sanders read the weak side linebacker, dropping into the flat. He eyed the strong safety that was holding inside leverage, and then he fired a clean ball on the return route. It was great anticipation, great ball placement again, and he's just executing what's in front of him. That's really it. It's that simple. Now, one of the best parts of camp so far has been how calm and composed Sanders looks. He's not out there trying to win the highlight reel. He's out there making the right reads, playing within the offense, and that matters, especially when you're not running with the ones yet, because it's easy to kind of get anxious and try to make plays that aren't there, especially when like the coaches aren't even watching. But really, he stayed disciplined and he's just been making the right reads and been doing doing the right thing, because while it's clear the Browns are giving guys like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, unfortunately, more of the early reps with the top group, Shedeur is doing exactly what he needs to do right now. He's taking care of his reps and making it impossible for the coaching staff to fully ignore him. Another clip from today, according to my notes, showed Shedeur near the red zone in adjusted 11s again, and he dropped back. He didn't like what he see downfield and immediately dumped it off to the running back and Troy Harrison near the line of scrimmage. And it's not going to make any social media highlights. I'm not even sure if I can find the clip, but I remember seeing it. And it's these tight red zone situations where you'd rather check it down than force something into traffic and risk a turnover. I still remember 2 years ago, I was at the Chargers game in person where I think it was... who was under center? I forget who the quarterback was. It would have been Brissett. Sorry, I don't, my brain was tripping there. But yeah, they were in the red zone looking to take the lead, I believe, and he just forced it right into coverage for an interception, and it was just unbelievable. It was one of the most Browns moments of all time, and then they, of course, choked, and Cade York missed the game-winning field goal. I don't even want to remember that moment. That was just, wow, that was bad. But, again, that's why you just take what's given to you, and the red zone's easy. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Now, to mix things up, we also got to see DILLON GABRIEL in action again today. His best rep came on a quick screen pass to Pierre Strong, where he threw it right in stride. The offensive line got out in front for a nice gain, but that play also reminded everyone how fast this defensive line can close, even without full pads. Guys like Myles Garrett and Hurst were just flying in, and while this completion goes in the stat book, you get the sense that in live action, Garrett probably would have ate that play up, but still, the ball was out quick, it was accurate, and it was the right decision. We also got to see a little boot action from Kenny Pickett later in practice. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. I think overall he was pretty solid. I'm not sure what the official numbers were, but according to some of the reports I saw, it seems like he had a solid day, which again, I'm not trying to be a hater, but I don't like seeing him have good days because that means he could potentially end up being the starter, and we've seen what he is as a QB. He's not good. There were a couple more situational reps scattered throughout the practice. One that stood out was a Shedeur rep near the sideline where he hit a receiver on a tight comeback route. It was good timing and just another example of how clean his processing has been in these early days of camp. Another play looked like a missed opportunity where Shedeur hesitated a little bit on a wheel route to the back and ended up settling for a check down. We also did get another big rep from Picket toward the end of the day. The play was kind of controversial. Some thought it would have been a sack in live action, but he managed to step up in the pocket and fire one to the back of the end zone for a touchdown. And from the angle we saw, it looked like the defender probably gets home if they're allowed to hit the quarterback. But hey, that's camp. If the whistle doesn't blow, it's a live rep and you play it out, and it was good execution. So all in all, a pretty solid day for the offense. Sanders definitely stood out because he finally got to go against the real players on the team, and then Pickett looked sharp late in the day. Joe Flacco, according to the early reports, had a strong start to the session but kind of cooled off as things progressed, and then Gabriel overall was fine. He didn't do anything special, but he also didn't make any major mistakes. But again, Shedeur Sanders was the guy who looked the most efficient across all phases. I don't care what unit he's going against. Here is the full 2-minute report from Greet Him itself, who was actually there at the practice.
A lot of passing again. Shedeur Sanders got to play with the 11-on-11s, and he threw a nice touchdown pass to Luke Floria. He had a couple in 7-on-7s. Looked like they were trying to get him a little more action today. He also threw one to Deontay Johnson in the goal line. Kenny Pickett ended the practice with 2 touchdowns, one to tight end Brendan Bates, and then one to Blake Whiteheart in goal line. Cedric Tillman was back on the field today. He was doing individual drills. Didn't see him in team, but that was good news. We have a story on the front page of the OBR.com. Also, Jerome Ford, Michael Woods did not practice. Neither did Tony Brown or guard Tevin Jenkins. They're all believed to be minor injuries. The team's off tomorrow, and then they return to practice Monday. Kevin Stefanski said they'll be in pads. They practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week before a break Thursday. So they might be in pads all 3 days. Today, they went hard, a little quicker pace for the fans out here, and Kenny Pickett had the first reps. DILLON GABRIEL got some reps with the first team. Sanders was with the second and third teams when he was out there with the 11-on-11.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. Hopefully I was able to find most of the footage for you guys. I know I've kind of been struggling as of late because everything's on Twitter, so I have to like individually look up every single play, and I was looking at everything when I was like researching the video, but I gotta go back and find everything. Not sure why I didn't clip them at the time of doing it. I'm gonna start doing that in the future. But yeah, man, thank you all for your continued support, and until next time, I will see you all later.